What is going on, everyone? It is Tyler McKinney back here again, and welcome to the preview show, where we're going to break down each one of the games for week number 3, and I'm going to give you my keys to the games. Oh, and also, I'm going to give you my picks for each one of the games. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and let's get into these games, because we got some pretty awesome games coming in this week. Now, game number 1 is going to be on Saturday at 4 p.m. It's going to be on Fox, and it's going to be between the Bandits and the Gamblers. And the Bandits are giving up a point to the Gamblers, and the over-under is 38.5 points for this game. Now, when I look at this, really the keys to the game, what the Bandits, need to be doing is they need to really limit their mistakes. They need to block for the quarterback. I've been saying this and I've been looking at it, and Jordan Ta'amu has been playing really well. They haven't actually gotten to him to sack him a lot, but you can definitely tell that his rhythm and hitting his wide receivers, his tight ends, his running backs has been very disrupted. And again, they have been making a lot of mistakes on offense, and they need to really limit those, whether it be drop passes, whether it be fumbles, whatever the case be. They really need to clean up the mistakes and really block for their quarterback, who really is quintessential to this offense running. And speaking about this offense running, they really need to jumpstart this running game. And I think that I have the solution for it. Really, it's all from Jordan Ta'amu. I think that they really need to infuse that run game from him into their offense. I think if they can really show that he's going to be a dual threat quarterback. Listen, I know that he can throw, and I have confidence in his ability to throw. It has nothing to do with that. I don't want to take anything away from that, but I think that they need to do something so that everything isn't just kind of fixed on him throwing and then pinning their ears back and coming right after him, because they know that they're going to try to throw the ball because their running game hasn't been doing very well. And I think if they can take some of the pressure off of the running backs by putting more focus on Jordan Ta'amu possibly running the ball, because we know he can run the ball very, very well, I think that that'll open up the run game, and I think that that'll also open up the pass game for them with that. The third thing that they need to do is they really need to create some takeaways in this game. I think that that's really going to be their opportunity to really get the ball back and then push it and punch it into the end zone. I think that this defense is up for that task. I think that they can do that, and if they can get some takeaways and take advantage of it, I think that this game will be one that is really obtainable for them to win, and they could quite possibly really take it to the Gamblers in this game. Now, when I look at the Gamblers, this is a team that they really need to protect the ball and rely on the run game. I really like Thompson. I like what they're doing with him, and I think that this team on offense really starts from there. I think that Thorson's kind of starting to figure things out. When he was able to go ahead and Bahar got injured, he was in there. The game started, as it went on, started to slow down for him, and I think that that's going to continue. But I think that, the run game there, they definitely need to establish that and really put the ball in Thompson's hands, and then give Thorson that ability and early put him in some good situations to make some good throws, to get into a rhythm, to feel the game. And I think that that's really going to, launch them into places where they need to be. Now, they need to, once they get yards, they really need to convert it into points. That's been one of the struggles for them, and especially with their last game that they had. It was a struggle, for them to convert some of, all of this up and down, going down the field into points. And I think that can translate this week for them. The other thing that they really need to do is they need to take what the Breakers did as kind of a blueprint, and I think that they need to come after Jordan Ta'amu. Jordan Ta'amu is the center of this team. And so if they can go ahead and they can get after him, I think that they can dismantle this team fairly quickly, like what New Orleans, the Breakers, did to them a week ago. And I think that they can really put this team in a hole. As I look at this is a game that I think is going to score a lot of points. I think that both of these teams are going to go back and forth, and I think that you're going to see the Bandits starting to show the glimpses of the team that we thought that they would be at the beginning of the season. And I see that their gamblers are really going to actually start to, convert those yards that they're getting, all of those bunches of yards. And, I think that Thorson's going to figure it out. They're going to score bunches of points to where this game, I'm definitely going to go with the over, and I'm definitely going to take the 1 point and the gamblers. I think that the gamblers are actually going to win this game, and I think that some people might be shocked by that by the end of the game, but I really like the gamblers in this situation. Now, moving on to the second game of the day, and this is really first, this game is at 8 o'clock. It's on Saturday. Again, this game is on Fox, and it should be. This is the primetime game. This is the game of the week, and they're putting it on Saturday night, which I think is a good spot for it. This is the game this is the heavyweight fight. This is between, the two big dogs, the two teams that are undefeated so far in this season. You have the Stallions, who are the hometown heroes, who are coming in, and they are getting 3.5 points from the Breakers, and the Breakers are the breakout team so far this season. And I think that this game, it lends itself for a over-under that's this high for 44.5 points. This is setting up to be one electric night, and I think that it is going to deliver, but not in ways that you think. So let's go ahead to the keys of the game. For the Stallions, when I'm looking at this team, they really need to get out in front early. I don't think that this is a team, both of the games that they've played so far, they've played from behind and come back and won the game. That's not going to happen in this game. They really need to come out. They need to come out firing, and they really need to do it fast, and they need to do it early. And I think that they need to get a lead on this Breakers team. And the second thing is the Breakers pin their ears back and they get to the quarterback. They've had the most sacks by far in the league so far, and they're very, very good at that. And this defense, it's just like, you say with those college programs, the next man up. Well, that really has been the case with them. They've had a lot of injuries on defense, but yet they've still been able to go ahead and continue on with what they're doing and not miss a beat. It doesn't seem to matter who's in there, in that, when somebody goes down, the next person comes in and they take advantage of it. And that is a huge thing here. So they really need to protect the quarterback and allow their quarterback to allow Smith to make those good throws to get the ball to their wide receivers, their tight ends, and their running backs. Now, the next thing that they need to do is they really need to get stops. Their defense, believe it or not, is actually they give up a lot of yards and a lot of points. They just so happen to be on the winning side of things when it comes to that, because they actually get a lot themselves. To win this game, they're gonna need to get stops. That defense needs to turn and those opportunities that they get into stops wherever the Breakers get them, because the Breakers are a team that scores a lot of points, but they have a very good defense. So the Stallions defense needs to really pick it up and play on par with the Breakers if they want to win this game. Now, the Breakers really, first and foremost, don't make mistakes. Right now, they're sitting kind of in this position where everybody has been talking about them. They've been getting players of the week. They are the darlings right now of the league. They've got this fantastic, crazy defense. They need to not make mistakes. Continue doing what they're doing. Don't change a thing. Larry Fedora's got a good thing going on right now with that. They don't need to change a thing with what's going on. But they need to not, get too proud, not be inside their own heads, and they really need to just make sure that they don't make mistakes. Now, the second thing that they really need to do is utilize their run. They have a really, really good run game, and they need to take advantage of that. They need to pound the ball with Ellis. I think that things are going to work out well. Slaughter is really, really coming along nicely and at a nice pace, and I think that if they can really utilize the run, they can take advantage of that. They can really use that to their advantage and really control the game. And that's what they need to do. They need to really control the game, and they can do that by utilizing the run and going from there. And the third thing that they really need to do is what they've been doing, is getting after the quarterback. They need to get in Smith's face. They need to bother him and give him, don't give him the time he needs to find his wide receivers. Get after him. They need to sack him. And that defense, I'm going to reiterate this. They need to not buy into the hype. They need to continue to work. And I think if they can do that, I don't think that this is going to be a close game. I think that this is going to be one that the Breakers win pretty decently. I'm going to actually, believe it or not, I feel like Vegas is like tempting us with this over under the 44.5, to where I'm going to go with the under here. I don't really see them scoring that many points. I see this being like a not a low scoring affair, but I don't think that the Stallions are going to keep up with the Breakers like a lot of people think, and that this is going to be just a shootout. I think it's going to be a good game, but you're going to see the Breakers wear on them, and the Stallions are going to fall behind, and that they're not going to catch up with the Stallions, in this game. So I'm going to go with the under on this one. I don't really have a particular score, but I don't think that it's going to be one that, I think that the Breakers win by probably somewhere around 7 points. So that's kind of what I'm looking at with this one. Now, moving on to our third game, and this moves us into that Sunday, the Sundays games. Now, this is the 2:00 game, and this is the game on USA. And if I am being honest, the USA broadcast is probably my least favorite of all of the broadcasts so far. It's the broadcast team. It's the least experienced, and it shows. And we'll just leave it there. But they're getting better, and it's all right. And this is, I guess if this is, the one that I don't like, I like the least for broadcast teams, these are the two worst teams so far in the league. And they both just happen to be led by, former NFL mainstay coaches. And right now, these are the bottom seller teams, and they need to come out of the bottom seller. So right now, you've got the Panthers, who are giving up 2.5 points to the Maulers, 39.5 points, which is kind of surprising to me that it is actually that high here. But, hey, it is what it is. Now, the keys to the game are that the Maulers need to convert early. They really need to punch the ball in the end zone. They need to make their field goals, and they need to get out to an early start. I think if they can do that, I think that that's going to put a lot of pressure on the Maulers on the Panthers, that I don't think that the Panthers can handle with that. And in the same token, the Maulers are going to get takeaways. The key thing here is can they convert those takeaways into points? I really like what Love's been doing and what he's starting to put together with this team. You've got Gaither, who is starting to really blossom as a go-to wide receiver for them. They've got monsters. They're back running the ball, but the reality is this team cannot play from behind, and they're not built for that. I think Love is getting them to a place where this passing game is getting to be a pretty decent thing there. But every opportunity that they get, especially these takeaways, if they need to convert on them, and I think that that'll be the difference in this game. And the other thing that they really need to do is they need to get stops on D. That's when you look at it, they have the second most points given up, and they have the worst pass defense that there is. And so when you look at it, this on the defense side of things, that, they really need to get these stops. And kind of all comes together with that, to where stops on defense and take advantage on offense. That's really what they need to do. If they can put those things together, it doesn't need to be anything flashy, crazy. That's not going to win this game. Just doing things right and making sure that, you're getting that third down. You're not getting yourself into, third and long. You're making those field goals. You're punching that ball into the end zone. Those things, get stops on defense, take advantage, get the interception, force the fumble. Do those things, that's going to win this game. Now, looking at the Panthers, they really need to protect the quarterback. And this was one thing that surprised me. When I looked at Shea Patterson, I didn't realize that he had been sacked, the most times, that he was running for his life as much as what he was, and then he hadn't thrown an interception yet. I think, I guess maybe I've getting a new appreciation for him, but if they can protect him, I think that he'll do well in this game, especially with the Maulers having the worst passing defense. Now, they need to, though, start getting explosive plays. When you look at it, they don't have a lot of plays that have gone for a lot of yards or anything like that. I think they need to really stretch the field, and, they need to really find some playmakers that can do that to help Shea Patterson out. But I think if they can stretch the field out, I think that'll do some wonders for them. And I think that'll really open up this game and really put them in a place that the Maulers can't go. Because I don't think the Maulers are really built for firepower, whereas I think that the Panthers, if they can figure out some things, I think that they can do that. And the third key that I have for them is they really just need to finish drives. They've gotten a lot of yards throughout their first two games. They just haven't really punched anything in for whatever reason. The drive stalls out. They fumble the ball, which has been a lot of it. That seems to be what happens to them. So if they can go ahead and they can finish these drives, I think that's really going to bode well for them. And especially because, they're holding the craziest thing. They have given up the least amount of points, and they don't have a win yet at all on this season. It's just weird to see that they're doing things seemingly right, but it's not translating to wins. And, before I go in and give you my picks and my thoughts, I don't think that this game is going to be a lower scoring game, but I don't think that this game is going to necessarily be a bad game. Whereas the Generals game and the Panthers game last week it was a bad game. It was hard to watch. I don't think that this is going to be the case. I think this is going to be a low scoring game, but I think that this is going to be a good game. It's going to be a fun game, and it's going to look like a defensive bout should look. This is not going to be a bad game like last week. I think those of you who like defensive, low-scoring games, this is going to be a game that you're going to like. I'm definitely taking the under on this one. And because the Panthers haven't figured things out, I still don't think that they're going to figure things out. And I think that they're going to go to 0-3 this week. So I'm going with the Maulers. I'm definitely going to take those 2.5 points with that. Now, to finish things up, Sunday evening at 8 p.m. and it's on Peacock, and I've got to figure out if that's just going to be on Peacock or if there's something I can figure out with NBC. I might have to, try to subscribe to Peacock so that I can watch this game. I hope that that's not the case, but we'll see what it is. It's the Generals versus the Stars, and the Generals are getting a point. The over-under is 40.5 points for this game. Now, The Generals. I've already said this, and I don't want to beat a dead horse, but you need to pick a quarterback. If you've got two quarterbacks, you don't have a quarterback, and you already know Luis Perez has issues if he's not in the game for a significant amount of time and continued on. He needs that rhythm. He needs the reps. And the same thing with Johnson. He needs to be able to know that he's the guy, that when he's in there, he's not going to get pulled out right away. And this is a team that runs the ball well, but they really need to get back to what they did in that first game and stretch the field. I think if they can stretch the field, that this team is going to have success, but they need to figure out how to stretch that field. And right now, the only way to do that, I think, is with Luis Perez. But if they can't get him in a rhythm, he's not going to be in the game. So it goes back to the whole picking the quarterback thing. But explosive plays from this team and stretching the field, I think, will do wonders for them. We'll see what happens. The other thing that they need to do is that they need to stop the pass. This game is a really interesting one because you pretty much have the Generals, who are pretty much the best running team in the league, and you have the Stars, who are the best passing team in the league. So I think whichever team can stop the others is going to be able to win this game. And so if they can stop the pass, I think that that's going to bode well for them in winning this game. Now, conversely, let's go ahead and let's look at the keys of the game for the Stars. Stars. They need to go ahead and they need to protect their quarterback. That's just it. It was interesting for me to see, everything that's been happening and all of the things against that you would think that would keep, the interceptions, the sacks, and all of that on Scott, that you would think that he wouldn't be the one who would be leading in touchdown passes and also leading in passing yards. But that's just the way it is. And really, this team goes through the pass. Everything is ran through the pass, and which they seem to be doing all right so far with. And, Scott's the guy for that. But also, too, I think one of the things they need to do in this game is figure out how to run the ball. I think that they really need, they don't need, 3 yards in a cloud of dust, but they need, like, those big long runs are fine from Holland. They need something from the running game to help out the passing game, to take a little bit of that pressure off of Scott to help them, to help just to really open up that passing game for him and hopefully, keep him upright and not so many sacks. And the final thing that I have for them is stop the run. And I think if they can do that, it's just like what I said with the Generals, just the opposite way. If one of the teams can do that, I think they're going to be the one to win. So as I'm breaking down this game, really, for me, it comes down to stopping the run and stopping the pass. Whichever team can go ahead and do that to the other team is going to be the team that I think that wins this game. And really, as I look at this game, I'm definitely going to pick the Stars in this game. But I think that this game is going to be actually more surprising than what you think. And I think that we're going to get a lot of dynamic plays in this game. And that this game is going to be a shootout that the Stars end up pulling ahead and winning. I'm thinking somewhere around like a 35 to like 24, 27, something like that, to where I think it's going to be a very high scoring game. So I'm definitely going to go with the over in this game. And I'm definitely going to go ahead and take the Stars and give up the 1 point on this one. So those are all my picks for the week. As always, I'd love to know your thoughts down in the comment section. Let me know down there and we'll continue on the conversation. All right, guys, listen, I know that you're busy and I know that I'm busy, so let's get on out of here. You have a good night. Bye.